Well, 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 here we are. Not the normal thing that we normally have going on, but we will make do with what we got, of course, but we're just going to try to, like I said, improvise here. So wait for a couple more people to come in before I go through the spiel here. But here we are. This is what, September 27th? Yeah, September 27th. And let me have a look at it then. Let me have a look at it. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit gamey there. May have to do the hamburger, but we'll see. All right, well, plans are changing even on the fly, even at the last minute. I think maybe it defrosted when we took it out.
Or chili over those noodles.
Yeah, we can do that other hamburger in there without a problem. Just takes a little bit longer to cook. So welcome everybody. Let's see what we got here for comments. Jesse Miller, Unboxing and More. How you doing? Yeah, I wish it was this roomy. That'd be nice. I'd have a little bit of space to do what I need to do. B Blood, Metal Music Maniac. How you doing up there, Harry? Everything is good. Well, B Blood, you got to do what you got to do. But let's break it down for what we're doing here. We are in the company hotel for the company at which I work. It's affectionately called the Bunkhouse. We are about 7-8 miles up the road from company headquarters, off to our east. We're really in Dexter, Minnesota. Mr. Welchster, how you doing? Matthew Johnson, how you doing? Welcome on in. So, like I said, we are getting some work done on the truck. Now, the main thing is our truck's government-mandated clock computer that tracks where we are, what we're doing, how much time we do it. So that needs to be replaced because the unit I have is malfunctioning and causing problems. And the Microsoft, the main software portion of it, is not going to be supported anymore by Microsoft by the end of the year. So it has to be replaced, which is in the process right now. Hey, Mr. TJ Jones. Yeah, same old, same old. You know the routine, sir. So we got here. We made our delivery in Caledonia, Minnesota, on Wednesday. After detours and things like that, roads being closed down where we couldn't go, we got to our stop a little bit later than we wanted to on Saturday, but we got the delivery done. Not a problem. We had to find a place to park for the night because I wasn't going to get back to here until either very late night, and any kind of delay on the road would have forced me, to be in violation, which I'm not going to have. So we wound up going not too far back over into Wisconsin, into La Crosse, Wisconsin, to the Walmart there. We stayed there overnight. We ordered DoorDash with a Red Lobster. It was neither of us were very satisfied with it, but it was dinner, it was something quick, something easy, so. But the way they did things just wasn't. It was very blah, very underwhelming. And then Thursday morning, get up, we came here. And we've been here since, people photobombing, of course. But, so we got here to headquarters about 9:30 on Thursday morning, and then they got the truck into the shop a little bit after that, and then we got here to the bunkhouse around 10:30 Thursday morning, and we've been here ever since. Truck was supposed to be ready Friday, but parts needed to be ordered, and they were still working on it, put new steer tires on, grease the fifth wheel, replace the steer tires, fix a leaky hose. So, all kinds of little things that need to be done, but the main thing is that ELD computer, which it's still not finished. I'm still waiting for a part to come in. So, as it stands right now, Monday, as we're still waiting for the parts and then to be worked on and tested and everything, put into proper order, what the quote temporary plan is, I might be driving a dump truck for the day. May or may not, who knows. But the load that I was supposed to pick up, Mr. Welchster, that was going to Kalispell, was required to leave on Friday. But because I wasn't going anywhere Friday, I got taken off. So we got taken off that load. And until we actually get the repair and everything with the computer is communicating properly and everything's working properly, very much we can do. We're going to sit in the bunkhouse until then. So I initially thought it would be a 2-day thing, but it's turning into a 4 or 5-day thing for this new computer. And then they got to do all the kind of wiring underneath the dash and hooking into the truck's computer, and have all that stuff communicating properly. Blah 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 blah. Model electronics ain't helping anybody. The paper logbook works so much faster, easier, better in my estimation. But there we go. So tonight, like it said at the beginning there, like it says on the screen right now, there is a change of plans for tonight's dinner because we just can't get to it. Have a vehicle to go whenever I want. There's a company vehicle here, and we do have a little bit larger refrigerator, but we're trying to eat some of that old stuff down to replace it with new, fresher stuff. So it's just going to take a bit of time in order to get those things done. So dinner number 7, which would normally be done right now, is going to be delayed 1 week until next Sunday, which is October the 4th, I believe it is. So you still are able to vote, change your vote, whatever you want to do. The meals are going to stay exactly the same. So feel free to go to the description, either on Facebook or here, and put your vote in for the meal that you would like to see. We've gotten a little bit wider selection, wider votes than we've had in the past. So we've got some for the breakfast. We got some for everything in there. But so far, one of them is winning. We have a somewhat close second one. I'm not going to spoil it, but there you go. Well, yeah, the waiting game, that's just part of the nature of the job, and the truck's in the shop. This computer is kind of a mandatory thing we have to have, so no worries. But we're going to make do with dinner tonight. So tonight we were going to do a little bit of chicken, but chicken appears to have gone off because having other people in the truck, turning it off, turning it on. So no worries about there. So we're just going to change it up a bit. We're going to do a beef ragu. And we're going to make a little bit of quote-unquote pasta. We're going to do a spiral cut zucchini spaghetti pasta, which we bought a spiral slicer and we're going to take the zucchini. We're gonna cut it up so that it gives long, thin strands like spaghetti, and we're gonna use that to make our meal. So here we go. So here is the spiral slicer, kind of an hourglass shape here. Look closer.
And,
So, but on the one side here, well, I guess it's on both sides.
no, it's different. One you could do thin potatoes.
Let's see here. So yeah, I think there might be the same. One might be a little bit narrower. So I'll probably do the narrow side here. So next thing, just put it in, turn it like an old, I don't know, some of you are not young enough to know, but a manual little handheld pencil, shaver. Twist that, and then this little cutter here. It's got the little fin, got the little blades going vertically and horizontally. Cuts the vegetable into nice long strings. Then we're gonna cook it up just like we do spaghetti for the most part. Put the little beef ragu on it, and we'll go from there. Not too difficult. Look, I've never actually done this before, but why not? Let's give it a try. So before we get started, I did post to a couple of Facebook pages. Big Truck Cooking, I think it is one of the Facebook groups that I belong to. Which basically it's cooking in the truck, and there's some people there doing some pretty good stuff. A lot of them are doing pretty amazing things with the limited amount of tools and space as I do. Some of them are, doing fairly simple meals, but they're jazzing it up a little bit with sauces and whatnot, using the new tools that are out, like the Galan's microwave air fryer, unit that seems to be working for a lot of people. I've had microwaves, I've had the air fryer, dehydrator, convection oven thing, several different units. I just never used it enough to warrant keeping it. And now having somebody else on the truck with me, it was like I used the last one that I had for almost 3 months. I used it 3 times. 2 times for popcorn, 1 time to heat a little Campbell's little cup of soup up, and that's all I used it. It was just taking up space, and it wasn't worth it. So pretty much everything that I can do with the hot plate and a pan, and deliver the same result, or in my estimation, for my purposes, better results. The results I know I can achieve with the tools I have. So we're just going to compensate with like I said, pots, pans, technique, and a few tools that that'll help us get to where we want to go. Hopefully. So we are going to get ourselves started. We're going to start with our beef ragu first, because we can cook that and set that aside. Then we can do the zucchini here and get that put up. Put the dress it with the ragu and go from there. Thank you much. So we got 1 pound of ground beef. Now this is 80-20, not the 73-27 that I normally like. I like that higher fat, but this will deliver a nice, juicy, moist, flavorful ragu despite that. So we are in a hotel here, so the lighting is really poor. They got 1 mediocre light bulb there. They got 4 or 5 light bulbs over the sink here. They have no in-ceiling lights or any other kind of lights in here besides the window and the television, and then of course your phone. That's really it. My camera light right here hopefully is given somewhat of a decent way of doing things here. But we're going to start to do what we can do. So first thing we're going to do, we don't have a real cutting board here, so we're just going to make do. I got a bit of a towel here, or a nice blade here.
Onion.
Need some onion there, if you would, please. So we're not gonna try to be super fancy and cut all 5-star hotel, 5-star restaurant type deal. We're just gonna lightly dice it. Like I said, this is not the kind of knife that you really rock and drag. This is more of a straight up and down. There is a slight curve to it. This is more of a vegetable cleaver than anything else, but it's a good balanced blade for me. And we are just going to dice up a bit of an onion here. This is roughly 1/4 of an onion, maybe just a little bit less. But we're just going to get this started here. So we're going to turn our pot here, our pan here, right up to as high heat as possible. We did have to replace this hot plate just a little while ago. The other one, we had a bit of a bad fall with a few pieces of equipment, kitchen equipment that fell about 5 foot, landed right on the hot plate that was sitting on the floor. And it just hit it enough that it shook something loose, and it didn't want to work anymore. This one's a little bit more updated. It actually gives you a power. The other one just had on or off. This one actually has a power light and a heating light, so it gives you a little bit more information. So we're just going to roughly chop that. We're going to sweat these onions out here a little bit. So normally I'd be using a bit of olive oil here, but did not pull the olive oil out of the truck. Hey, trucker girl Kiana, how you doing? Welcome on in. Yes, spoon right here.
You also have butter.
Huh?
Butter?
Yeah, let's use the ghee since it's open. So instead of, like I said, olive oil, we're going to use a bit of pure desi ghee, clarified butter. So it's been cooked. A lot of the milk solids have been taken out. So this is really mostly just a pure kind of fat. And we're going to, instead of using olive oil, we're going to use this. It has a lower temperature to melt, and it does impart a bit of flavor that is different from the from olive oil, but nothing that's too bad. You're waiting to get your computer fixed as well, huh? Yeah, well, I'm on the PeopleNet system, and putting a new unit in, always a real treat and a half. So we're gonna go ahead and wipe that off there real quick. So we got our onions nicely diced. Now, just like with any other oil, you want to look at for the what's called legs. You'll see the little individual rivulets, going down. So you can actually see a little bit of a shimmer there. So I'm going to throw onion in there. There we go. I'm going to turn that down just a tad. We're going to get a little bit of getting some of that natural moisture inside out. So we use what little salt we got left to help speed that process along. We don't really want any real color on these. We just want to soften them up. So we're turning the heat down a little bit more. Actually, we're gonna just keep building flavor here as much as possible. We want to get some of the sweetness and some of that onion flavor out of here. And we're going to be adding to the ragu, the actual tomato base that we already have, which we are using the Classico 4 cheese. This is not just a finish. This is an ingredient for the meal itself. So So we don't want to, like I said, we're not looking for color. We're looking just to get that flavor out of there. Well, yeah, Kiana, I know how that stuff feels because when I started at Melton Truck Lines, well over 2 years ago now, my ELD that I had in that truck did not work for 2 months. I was on paper logs for 2 months. So I definitely know how you feel on that one. Let's keep that stirred around. Because we don't really want a crunch, in the onion. We could have diced a little bit finer, but we'll just go with this. Just a few moments, we're going to add a little bit of minced garlic. Clean that off so we don't get any ghee into the garlic here. Now, there is a bit of garlic in the tomato sauce itself already, but we're just going to intensify that. Throw that in there like that. Thank you. And my assistant here is kind of reading my mind of what I want to do, which is nice. So whenever you want to make something with a little bit more intense flavor, this will have flavor, but this is going to be a rather mild flavor. Use some tomato paste, just a little bit, to almost anything that you're cooking. Some beef, you're making a sauce for beef, use this. This is a lot more concentrated. It's a lot greater depth of flavor. Put a little bit of that in there. We're going to squeeze a little bit of that in here and cook that up before we add anything else. Keep that going. I'm going to take a little bit of black pepper here. Right there. Going to be throwing things on the floor.
Yellow bell pepper?
I don't think so. A little bit of black pepper, and the longer you cook a black pepper, black peppercorns, they'll start losing some of that spiciness, that heat that's commonly associated with pepper, and you'll start to get a greater sweetness. The more the fat from olive oil or a butter gets into that pepper, it starts to affect it chemically, which is all cooking is. Cooking is a chemical reaction. And the longer you leave it, the more of a sweetness you'll get from pepper than a spiciness. Okay, those are looking good. I'll turn that up just a tad. So like I said, this is a little Amore tomato paste. Looks like it comes in a toothpaste tube. Nice, very concentrated, paste. You don't need a lot of it. So look here. We just put a tiny, tiny amount in there. Thank you. Well, like I said, we're going to make a beef ragu, which is a meat sauce. That's what ragu basically means, is a meat sauce. We're going to make some zucchini spaghetti. So we got a spiral slicer here. We got a zucchini. We're going to put that on there, twist that around, and let that actually twist. We're going to put that on the end. Okay. Do that at the end. And then, like I said, we're going to have that all, we're going to cook the zucchini a little bit, just like you would, it's going to look like spaghetti. Then we're going to put the beef ragu on top, and we'll see what else we can do with that. So we're just going to put that in here. We're going to mush this tomato paste around, and we're going to get that heated through and kind of dispersed as much as possible through the onion here first. The woman with me now is my friend Christina. She's riding along with me for a while. There you go. So she's helping to keep me sane on the road. And you can see the water. You see that bubbling in there? That's excess water that's coming out of the tomato paste, out of the onions, out of the garlic. And when that bubbling stops, you know that it's going to be fairly dry. Now, the tomato paste is coloring, and as the tomato paste cooks, the flavor is getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's really intensifying. So it's not only getting a lot sweeter, it's also getting more savory at the same time, which is, kind of what we do. So, like I said, unfortunately, because we are in the situation we are with the truck being in the shop, we have stuff in the refrigerator that's been not exactly treated nicely because they turned the truck on, they turned the truck off, things are melting. We've got to take things out, we've got to transport them to the hotel here, the bunkhouse here. It's not exactly been kind to some of our food, our raw food. Like I said, we got rid of the chicken. There's some green onions we had to get rid of. Just some things just didn't survive, thawing out like that. So, and like I said, we really don't want to buy a whole lot of stuff and then having the same problem when we go to get back in the truck. So we're trying to eat down what we have first, and then from there we will stop by, make our plans for meals for the rest of the week. Then we'd be stopping like late Friday, Saturday for the Sunday's dinner, which is the menu is still up on this one. I'm going to repost it again, and hopefully we get a few more votes, and we will see what we're going to make live in the truck. And the truck setup is going to change a little bit. We're making, in order to accommodate 2 people, some things are going to change. And that's the thing. Health comes first, and that's one of the reasons why I always prefer cooking myself. Yes, I had a Marie Callender's pot pie today, but it's still, I would prefer to do certain things myself. A lot of food out there is not exactly intended to be healthy. It's intended to be delicious and get down the road. Here, have this, get out, type thing. Can I have those, please?
What?
The vitamins, minerals. All right, so one of the groups that I belong to on Facebook, thank you, is Keto Trucking, which is, like it says, doing, food that's ketogenic, that's designed to be a little bit healthier, a little bit more, less carbohydrates, less fat, less sugar, higher fat, higher protein, and be a little bit more on that line. But as with most things, I try to have a sort of a modified keto. I try to go as much towards that as possible, but there's some things I will not give up. I will not give up pasta. I will not give up, wheat. I will not give up, bread. I will not give up, certain things I want, it's some people are just too strict with it, and they wind up failing at their meal, at their intended goals, because they burn themselves out. I was never one to do that. So I use other things to help me with that. Number 1, white kidney bean, and I get mine through from Amazon. It's easy to order, but this helps to block the enzymes in your stomach and in your intestines from being able to process and absorb carbohydrates, i.e. sugars. Now, you don't take this, like it's going out of style. You don't take more to block more. You only take a certain amount. And I don't take it so often that it hurts me. But I take it, when I have a meal that is going to have some carbohydrates in it, blocks some of it. It does help me. Along with something, a product that helps to boost ketones, which is where we get the word ketogenesis from. A ketone is a chemical that processes energy, which is one of the most efficient energy sources in our body. Fat will turn into ketones when it's being processed by the body, which then delivers the energy. ATP5 is one of those chemicals necessary to do that. So if you get the ATP5, use that as well. Along with that, I also take curcumin, turmeric, curcumin. This helps control inflammation. I find personally this helps me with being ketogenic as well. And then I also take a bit of aspirin on a daily basis. All right, so we're getting a little bit of color into here. So now we're going to add our ground beef. This is 1 full pound, so we're going to have a little bit left over, which I need to upset with. Yep. Now this is still a little bit frozen, so we'll take a moment to fully get in. But like I said, it's one of the things. Just compromise. We'll just keep turning it and shaving it off. And then once this is all kind of broken down a little bit, and the onion and all the other ingredients in here are in. Got these little pieces that escaped. Then we're going to add our Classico 4 cheese. And we're going to have a little bit along with all the tomato that's in here already, we're going to also add a little bit of fresh diced tomato at the very end. Pug face. Silver and iodine. Well, silver, there are processes in the body. I'm not as familiar with silver. I think if dietary silver will help to control certain gut bacteria. That's something that I would suggest you look up on your own. But like I said, I'm not as familiar with silver as I might be. Chelated iron, I have more familiarity with. Iodine is always good because there's always a need for that in your system. For blood, there's a little bit of iodine need for bone, and certain other processes in the body, iodine will always be a benefit. But no matter what, always go with what you know is best for you. And as with many other things with your diet, the water you drink and your blood type always plays a part in that. Because I'm one of those people that I can eat more carbohydrates than some other people. Some people, they eat a little bit of carbohydrate and, it just turns straight to body fat, which me, it takes a lot more. I mean, I can eat, pound after pound of pasta and I will gain a little bit of fat. But I have a naturally higher metabolic rate than a lot of people. And that comes from years of having a high endurance type exercise regimen, which being a truck driver now, that is severely slowed down. When I was riding a bicycle for 120 miles, on Saturday and Sunday every single week, and doing about 30 or 40 miles every single day during the week, working a very physical job, landscaping, lawn care, tree and shrub care, being an arborist. I always had a high activity rate. Hey, Sister Lynn, how you doing? Yeah, so like I said, some people like that. Some people, any amount of carbohydrates will do that. Yes, and like I said, this is a 500 milligram or 325 milligram one here. I'll take one of these every other day or every 3 days. Most people will take the 85 milligram on a daily basis, which helps to relieve blood pressure problems. It helps to soften the arteries, but also taking nitric oxide is also a good thing for that. And nitric oxide can be gotten from your diet as well. Nitrates, which alternative nitric oxide, can be found in bacon and other cured meats. Also, certain vegetables will also produce nitrites, which helps produce nitric oxide, which you need. Arugula is probably the #1 plant that produces the highest concentration of nitrites when you process it, when you digest it. Another one is, I believe it's beets also do that. They produce a high amount of nitric oxide in your system once your body processes it. So, but, like I said, being that, but all that is kind of a supplement, an adjunct to why I cook in the truck. And I've said this many, many times, the least reason why it's often cheaper or less costly. I don't want to say cheap, but less costly. Whereas you may see that bigger bill when you buy all that food, but then you turn it into, let's say if I spend $60 at Walmart for shopping, I can get an entire week's worth of food, 7, 8, 10 meals, depending on how I use everything. Now, there's some things that are like, luxury items, like all my ramen stuff I have over here. That's more expensive because A, it's imported from Japan. B, it's very specific ingredients. Whereas when I buy an onion, I can use that for 4,000 different meals. Ramen, that's pretty much set as ramen. I can do a little bit change here, a little bit change there, but for the most part, I want a very specific thing. And if you've seen the picture of the ramens that I've made on Facebook, you'll see it. Hey, King Swing Stacking, how you doing? Great to have you. Well, unfortunately, I don't live up in the middle of the woods, Pugface. So I'm not a hermit on my own desert island. I'm not a monk in a seminary. So what are you going to do? Life will stress you out. I'm one of those people that I'll run my mouth in the truck. You idiot! Why'd you do that? Blah blah blah. And then vent, and then 2 minutes later, I'm done with it. I don't hold on to it. I have never held a grudge. I've never seen any advantage in doing that. I try not to dwell on things that are trivial, things that just, it's like, why am I worrying about this? I just let it go. The very important things I'll worry about, but I will always try to find a way to have an outlet for them, by actually solving the problem. And that helps to reduce stress, which in turn helps your mind, it helps your body. It's just a win-win. Master Chef Trucking. Taco mac and cheese. Well, you cannot go wrong with that, can you, sir? We're doing something a little bit, sir. We got the hamburger frying here for a little zucchini spaghetti with a ground beef ragu. Like I said, I have never done zucchini spaghetti, so we'll see how it is. I can't imagine that it's all that bad. Zucchini is a pretty decent vegetable. I tried to pick out one that was nice and firm, one that did not seem like it'd been there too long, not too moist. Because for everything that I've learned about using zucchini or any vegetable as a pasta substitute, making sure that its moisture content as low as possible helps with it holding together and in your enjoyment with texture afterwards. You get that mouthfeel as part of eating, part of cooking. And we'll see how it goes. So, like I said, we got our little spiral cutter here. And this side over here is a little bit finer noodle, quote unquote. This will make a larger noodle. So we're going to use the finer noodle, I think. Yes?
We'll see.
Well, you want a fat noodle or a wide? Or...
I'm going to test it out.
All right, well, I guess we're doing a little bit of both. Why not?
First time using that one.
Yeah, it's the first time using this, so we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I've never used this before. I mean, we'll see what it brings. It's not a big, heavy tool. It seems fairly easy to use, just like an old pencil, sharpener. So, I have gotten the pre-cooked stuff, and I'm just not a big fan. Pre-cooked, chicken, pre-cooked bacon, pre-cooked sausage. I'm never really a fan of that because I don't have as much control over the end results. But it's just one of the things where we will do things. I mean, if I had taken the hamburger out, if the chicken had lasted, we'd do a little bit of chicken with this. But the chicken just did not seem to survive the transition from the truck and everything they're doing with it. So, and that's, they're working on the truck. We didn't take everything out immediately. So, wouldn't anticipate being out of the truck this long. So, but we can only do what we can do. So, like I said, we got our ground beef here, a little bit of tomato paste, onion. We're just getting the last bit of this frozen stuff here, which we might just once this actually warms up through, we might be able to just cut it up here. It's getting there. Like I said, we're going to add a little bit of the Classico, which is my favorite pre-made sauce. Master Chef, you made some sushi last night. Well, I would like to tell you this in all candor, in all honesty. I grew up in Japan for 10 years. Never once did I ever enjoy sushi. This is 1974 to 1978, 1982 to 88, before it exploded around the world and everybody loved sushi. Well, I'm just one of those old-fashioned Yankee, type people. I'm a northerner. I like the more basic and more rustic type cooking. And sushi was, originally was a street food. It was a fast food. You're taking little tiny bits of whatever you had, whatever you can get your hands on, a little bit of rice, a little bit of seaweed, and you put it out there fast. And that's what it always was. It's been elevated to something that is, it's more artistic now, And then, of course, the Americans get a hold of it, and they put avocado in it, and they put all kinds of ingredients in there that just aren't Japanese. And I didn't like it when it's 100% Japanese. I don't like it now. So, but like I tell everybody else, whatever you like is the way you should do it. I will take a steak. I will not refuse a steak from anybody. So like I said, we're making, if I had more electrical power in the truck, I would have a little bit bigger tools. But the number one thing is having the space. Oh, really? There you go. Well, I see. I was in Iwakuni, Japan, which is a little bit southwest of Hiroshima. That was a Marine Corps base. I was in Atsugi, Japan, which is a naval air station. Yokosuka, Japan, which is where the 7th Fleet was based at the time. I don't know if it's still based there right now, but I think it was. Camp Zama. Let's see, Manzen, Yokohama, Negishi. We were moved around a little bit, but 10 years, in Japan, when you're that young, when you're there from at 3 years old, and when you leave for the last time when you're 17, it definitely affects, your palate. Now there's something, like I said, there's things I just never got. I never liked. Sushi is one of them. My sister, likes it better than I do, but even she doesn't eat that much sushi. Her husband likes sushi a lot more. Well, he barely even been out of Georgia. Georgia and Maryland, really the only places he's lived, and like I said, you can always find it interesting what people like. All right, so the ragu is almost done. We're going to take every 2 years. Yeah, I was on that 3-year cycle with the Navy. So we do not want to over sauce this. We want to just loosen the meat up a little bit, just to bind it together just a little bit. I wish I could have gone to Europe, as a kid, but I'll take the 10 years in Japan and be happy with that, because that's exactly what happened. Back in there. All right, so we got our tomato sauce in there, and that, as it sits, will all combine together, because the acidity in the tomatoes will let those flavors, the fats, the onion, the seasonings, all that to combine a little bit faster. So you don't have to over stir a tomato sauce. It'll bring its flavors together naturally. So we're just going to take this. Going to set that right there. We've got a couple of towels here that we're going to use as a trivet. We're going to turn this off here. Set that to the side. Grab a lid here. There we go. Just going to put the lid on there. Stick that there, I think. And we're just going to stick this off to the side here. Out the way. There we go. All right. You want to do the honors?
Where's the smaller knife?
There we go. Got some more right there.
I mean, you can do it if you want.
I don't want to steal your limelight. So we'll go to plate here, I guess. Here. So we're going to let the real star of the show take over here for a moment. No?
I'm quieter.
Yeah. So the hot plate's still hot, so we got to be careful of that. I'll move this out the way here a little bit. We definitely want to show that on camera there, but
Okay.
I don't know how you want to do that.
This is the easy part.
So we got, I don't know, a little over 1 pound of zucchini there, roughly. You want water in here, or we?
No.
Okay.
No. If you don't boil it, it'll be too soft. I'm going to try this side first.
Yep, so we're going to try one side first, and basically just put it in, twist it, and you can see as it comes out there. I think you need to put a little more pressure on it. pushing in a little bit more.
Yeah, these are a little bit bigger than I'm used to. Let's try the other side.
So you can see how it separates there. Little strings like that.
Oh,
Ve-
that's bigger.
Yeah. So we'll
Okay.
see how it goes. Like I said, we'll just toss it in a pan real quick. A little bit of
I'm gonna put a little bit of ghee, just
yeah, just a tiny bit of ghee. You know, just to give a little bit of fat to cook them through a little bit. We don't want to put any real color on them. We just want to
want to warm it up a little.
just to warm it through. Then we'll put the ragu on top and see how it holds up. So what we got here? Yeah, it's the first time I'm actually doing it. So, well, Christina here is doing it.
I mean,
But it's the first time I'm ever having zucchini pasta. I've seen people doing it, that way for years. But we gotta give it a try.
It's not going to hurt to have vegetables.
No, it doesn't hurt to have vegetables. Vegetables I've never been afraid of vegetables. Some I like, some I don't, but there you go. But if you remember a couple weeks ago, we had a little bit of a disaster with the pasta maker in the truck. He decided to give up the ghost. But, that's c'est la vie, We may have to throw in a little bit of water to help them separate a little bit. But we'll see. But, it's always good to try something new. And with the tools that we get nowadays, they may seem a little bit hokey. But who knows, how it'll work out. Maybe this is something that we find is really, really good. And like I said, I'm not afraid of real pasta. I prefer making pasta by hand, but in the truck in the size truck I have, that's not always possible. But you can't. You got to it's got to keep going one direction. You can't rotate it backwards. But like I said, we do what we can. Yeah, get that place clean there, Pugface. Miss Terry Lee Mercer, how are you doing? Welcome on in. And Jesse Miller, Unboxing and More, one of my favorite people from the Mid-Atlantic. How you doing? Always a pleasure having you there. Think it's enough? I think we go for that. Hopefully everything is good back in the near the old Chesapeake.
Okay.
Yes, that's fine.
All right.
You just need to separate those individual strands.
It's not a lot, but
I think it'll be more than adequate. So we got to get a pan here. Let's turn that on. We'll probably put that at about half, I think. So we got a little bit of ghee, which is clarified butter.
we don't want it too cooked.
Yeah, we're just trying to get this warmed through. Got a little bit of salt, which is going to help to pull some moisture out of the zucchini. Then we're going to take our ragu, put on top of that. We have a little bit of Parmesan. I mean, not a block, but we do have some Parmesan,
Just using that.
which will help to bind everything together.
Just a tiny bit.
Yep. We also have Italian seasoning. We have red pepper flakes. We have black pepper. General stuff like that. Now, I wish the lighting here was a little bit better, but they don't give us that much of an option here.
We're at the tongs.
Right there on top. There you go.
I mean, I really just want to do this for about a minute.
Yeah, we'll see how we do. Now, I was hoping this would be a little bit thicker, a little bit of a heavier texture, but we will see how it goes.
It's good raw, actually.
I can imagine that.
I just want to warm it a little bit and add salt and some Italian seasoning, maybe.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Get it in there.
I'm not. I'm just.
There we go. And of course, being in a hotel, we're using a little sink here as to clean as we can. Just try to keep things as neat and organized as possible. A little bit of black pepper. Some Italian seasoning. Thyme, basil, oregano, marjoram. Maybe a touch of rosemary. I don't know exactly what's in this exact mix here. This is your standard McCormick's. Let's see what it says here. Thyme, oregano, basil. A little bit of marjoram. Just your general stuff.
I think we're ready. It just needs to be warmed through.
Yeah,
It's gonna get.
plus the sauce is going to help do
bowl?
some of that. All right, so even though it's not very Italian, we got our Japanese bowl there.
Ah! Things will happen.
We'll take it off the burner. This is the thing with cooking. You just never know. Now, I'm looking at the ragu.
Can you give me the other plate?
Yeah. You're looking at the ragu here, the beef, the meat sauce. I think it's going to be a little bit heavy for this particular dish. The zucchini spaghetti, the spaghetti. Well, maybe we won't put that in there. That'd be a little bit heavier than desired. We're going to take that off. This out the way. Set that down here. There we go. Put your hand in there. I'll set that on the floor as well.
Okay.
So it did not give a lot, but it's like we are experimenting with this. It's the first time we're really doing this. So you can't really say yay or nay. All right, so we're going to take a little bit of a ragu here. I think it's a little bit heavy for that,
I think it's just fine.
but we will see. Right, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. There we go. Can never go wrong with a little bit of Parmesan. Parmesan is one of those things that actually helps with digestion. If you ever have an upset stomach or a stomach that feels a little queasy, some fresh, a good slice of Parmesan, about the size of a quarter, can actually help with your digestion. So we will grab a couple of forks here. There we go. Like I said, not fancy by any stretch of the imagination here. There we go. Shirley Cook Mims, how you doing? So unfortunately, this is not your audience choice dinner, but because of problems with the truck, we're in the hotel, so it doesn't exactly. We don't exactly have the option to do that, but the dinner choice menu is still up, and then we will be doing that next Sunday. So please make sure you go and vote 1 through 5, vote by number, and the winner will actually be announced immediately before we start cooking. But other than that, let's see what we got here. So a little bit of zucchini spaghetti. So basically, the zucchini just been spiral cut into a nice long noodle shape. And then a little bit of beef ragu. The ragu is probably just a little bit too heavy for this, but we are going to give it a try here. So you see how it strings up just like that. So we'll kind of mix it up here to get a little bit, get the strands separated. And we'll see how it does. So like I said, a little bit thicker of a cut, we might be a little bit better, but we're gonna adjust it the next time and go from there. My world, my way, Helen. How you doing? Didn't see you there earlier. I guess you popped in. So we're going to give it a little try here. Like I said, a little bit of beef ragu. So this is more of a ketogenic friendly way of doing it instead of just a straight, pasta. You don't have to worry about trying to do a gluten-free pasta or anything like that. The zucchini is gluten-free. So bon appetit. So the texture is definitely different. You're not going to get that al dente or to the tooth, which is what al dente means. You're not going to have that resistance with this particular size. Maybe next time we try the little bit larger size there, we may have to see what else needs to be done in order to get, that type of like I said, mouthfeel, that texture out of it that we were looking for.
I think if it was raw and you put the sauce on top of it warm, that would have been enough.
Maybe, probably.
Body.
Yeah, let the ragu itself warm the zucchini through. That might be something we need to look at. Like I said, experimentation never hurt anybody when it comes to cooking. You never know what you're going to try.
Tastes great.
It tastes very good. I'm not dissatisfied with it in that regard. Like I said, but the experience of having that chew, certain things should be a certain way. A grilled cheese sandwich should be crisp on the outside and gooey in the middle. Kind of like a properly done marshmallow on a campfire. Little bit of outer crust that you just a tiny little got to break through in that gooey center. That's the way you do it, right? A good snowball, crushed ice in the summertime has got to have a certain size ice crystal. If you go too fine, it becomes shaved ice. That I don't like that. And all the way on the other side of that is a popsicle. That's not what I want either. I want nice big crystals, a good sweet syrup on it, and that's what you have. Ice cream has to have a certain texture. Fried chicken has to have a certain texture. When it doesn't have that, you don't feel like you don't enjoy it as much. But this is pretty good. We will be experimenting with this in the future. But it's giving that same sort of initial look. The taste is right there with it. I think the zucchini is a little bit too light in flavor. The ragu is overpowering it a little bit, but that can be modified. I can tone that down, by omitting certain ingredients or doing things in a little bit different way to allow the zucchini to come up.
Spaghetti squash would be good too.
Mm-hmm.
Spaghetti squash.
Spaghetti squash is good. There again, I've never tried this spaghetti squash. You get this melon like type squash. You cut it in half and you just basically drag a fork through it, and it gives these long strands.
After you bake it.
Yeah, and it's okay. I mean, like I said, I have never personally tried it, but when it comes to a lot of dishes, I'm very much a traditionalist in some of the old school ways of doing it. One of my favorite channels here on YouTube is called Pasta Grannies. They go all throughout Europe, from the tip of the southern tip of Sicily, all the way up to the borders of France and Germany. And every kind of pasta in between they do, and there's some there that I wish I was making on a daily basis. But hey, Sir Ross Romes, how you doing? We are doing good. We're in the hotel again for another night, Truck is in the shop being worked on. Monday, hopefully, it gets repaired and we can be on the road again. Where we go to, I do not know. We'll have to find out. More than likely, we're going to be leaving Minnesota, heading down into Iowa to a John Deere plant. One of the 4 that's in the general area. Waterloo, Davenport, Dubuque, or even into Illinois, just over into Illinois, into Moline, where there's another John Deere plant there. So we don't know exactly what we're going to be picking up or where we're going to be going. And when we find that out, of course, we'll post that as soon as possible. I am trying to catch up with the vlog. If you've been seeing the videos going up a little bit more rapidly lately. You see the spaghetti type situation there. Not too bad. I said, may have to, like I said, we're going to use the other side here for a little bit bigger cut. See if we can't make that a little bit larger, a little more dense noodle, quote unquote. This one I just got from the Walmart. I'll see if I can find one on Amazon that gives us a little bit better control over the size. Because if I can vary that size a little bit, get a little bit bigger noodle, I think that might be a little bit more of a benefit. So we will, like I said, then we can possibly we can use it not just for spaghetti substitute. We can do it for making salads or as an ingredient in other things. We can do different textures and ways of doing things. So, but we'll see. Now, technically, I could have used my ramen noodles to do this. And that would have been a lot closer to a real pasta noodle. But, wanted to try this, so this is what we're trying. So next week, the dinner number 7, which is in the description on this one, will be done on October the 4th. This week, of course, being having the truck in the shop, we don't have the resources we need to. We don't have the time to do everything with the runaround I had to do today, and then I'll be doing tomorrow. So the necessities of the situation is causing a little bit of delay for dinner number 7. Now, unfortunately, I can't pull that up right now. I think let me pull up on the phone here. Forgot I put it into the notes. Here we go. Okay, dinner number 7. Number 1, chicken and dumplings. Number 2, meatloaf, potatoes and green beans. And the meatloaf we're going to be doing in the Instant Pot. Chili without beans, and it's primarily going to be her fault. Be more of her recipe than the recipe I've done. I've shown the recipe that I normally do. And here's something I've never done, chicken cacciatore. We're going to give that a try. And number 5, breakfast of some type. It's going to be unspecified what breakfast is going to be. It could be potatoes and eggs. It could be eggs Benedict. It could be waffles. It could be pancakes. Could be an omelet. Could be a quiche. There's ways of doing all those things in a breakfast manner. But we will see what gets the vote. We've gotten votes on Facebook and YouTube for everything. One of them is winning out at the moment, but we will see. And of course, I'm not going to reveal anything until then because I don't want to influence the vote. The only thing that if something absolutely goes wrong, like it did this week, the meal will change. But I don't think it should. I mean, the truck should be 100% repaired and ready to go. Oil change, coolant change, all the fluids topped up, all the, I got new tires on the front, on the steering axle. The fifth wheel's been greased. I got a couple new airlines on the truck. Everything else has been gone through. They're putting the new computer in, which is what we're waiting for. And then once we get on the road, we may do a midweek dinner to make up but we'll see what goes on. Tomorrow, being as that my truck's still going to be in the shop, at least for part of the day, I might be driving a dump truck. That's the information I was given, so we will see whether I am actually driving a dump truck for the day, which, you know, not exactly a bad thing. You know, a little bit change of pace, a little bit going back to a type of vehicle that I've driven before when I was an arborist, a straight body truck with a dump body on the back. Yeah, I mean, it's been almost 10 years since I drove a truck like that, but whatnot. So we will make do with what we got. You know, work is work. Hey, Miss Linda Barker, how you doing? So, like I said, like Mr. Ross Romes there from good old London, England says, bon appetit. And like the Italians say, mangia. This is going to be a little bit shorter one, but yeah, can't have everything. I think an hour and 10 minutes is long enough to see when someone eats spaghetti. How long would you pay to see? How much would you pay to see that? So we're going to finish this off. We have a little bit of basically burrito meat left from yesterday, still left in there. May just go ahead and combine these two meats together. We still have plenty of tortillas. We got a bit of, we can pick up some more cheddar cheese later on and just eat that for a couple of days for a quick snack, whatnot. And like I said, we're just eating down a few of the fresh ingredients. We got a little bit of pork, you know, pork belly left in there. Got a little bit of bacon left. You know, a few vegetables, a couple of potatoes. We had potatoes and eggs and a little bit of bacon this morning for breakfast. The day before, we had oatmeal. Of course, I had to have a ramen. You know, I don't go a week without having ramen. You know, I mean, there's been a couple of weeks, but right before she got on the truck, I had ramen 4 days in a row. I liked it, but we do what we can. So, other than that, you're going to see a little bit more Pakistani, Indian type cuisine, thanks to
Maybe.
as much as I can get her to cook that type of stuff that I'm really unfamiliar with. I'm very Eurocentric. I'm very Chinese, Japanese, barbecue, Western or Eastern European. That's, you know, Italian, Spanish, Mexican, traditional American style cooking. That's my forte. Or if you want to say it properly, fort. But, you know, convention being what it is. But like I said, she brings a little bit something different to the mix. You know, types of cuisine that I've never tried, spices I've never used, mixtures of ingredients I've never tried. I mean, I've never had cucumber on a burrito before. She made a little bit of a salad to put on the burrito. It was interesting. I mean, it was like I said, it was a flavor profile I'd never ever tried. I liked it, you know. So there you go. You know, I'm not big on cucumber. When I do have it, it's usually just in a salad, real thin pieces. But it was pretty good. It gave that a little bit of dynamic that I wasn't expecting. But hey, you never know. Hey, the Trips, everybody's favorite Canadians talking about everybody else. How you guys doing? Hopefully you're doing good. And it's a shame you came in at the last minute, but next week, like I said, is going to be the audience choice, and I hope to see you guys there. I have started a new YouTube channel, which is called Hungry for the Road. And what I think I'm going to do with that channel is profiling a little bit of what we're doing here. It's going to be a little bit more of the still images, a little bit more of what I cook during the week that I don't show in a live stream like this. You know, a little bit more just top down, looking at the food, listing the ingredients, and I think we're going to do for that. And we'll see how it goes. So just look for Hungry for the Road. I will try to post I will be trying to do that channel live stream along with this channel and also on Facebook all at the same time. StreamYard here will allow me to do that. So I can post to two YouTube channels. I can post to the Facebook all at the same time. So there's different ways of coming at this. But that channel is going to be primarily just food. But the live streams for cooking in the truck will always remain on the trucking channel because that's where the focus is. My trucking life. It's not just the work. It's not just going down the road. It's also dealing with the shop. It's also, the loading and unloading, the paperwork, the permits I got to deal with, the weather, me crying and complaining because I didn't get my way, the normal stuff. And then, like I said, the Hungry for the Road channel is still going to be a trucking food channel. So it's going to be less focused on the live stream, more focused on the actual meals with a lot less of me yapping, which I think everybody would benefit, right?
I miss sunshine.
Yeah, Miss Sunshine there, yeah. Don't let the eyes roll too hard, Robert. No, I love having her on the truck. She's been nothing but a pleasure to me, and I'm very happy my friend is on the truck with me.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Yeah, don't push it too far. But like I said, she's going to bring a new dynamic to the food that we eat. So I'm looking forward to some of the things she's going to be cooking. She's already done a couple things so far, which I've enjoyed. Like I said, the burritos last night, unexpected flavor, but it was good. It was a good surprise. It wasn't one of the things like, oh my God, what did you feed me? It was like, I'd never experienced that type of flavor before on a burrito, but it works. So we'll be doing that again, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
If she has her way, we'll do it again. So yeah, I see them eyes.
Mm.
But like I said, so we're gonna say the spaghetti zucchini. I'd say we're about 60% there.
For what we had to work with,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're about at 60%. We're gonna keep working with this device here. I'm gonna try to look on Amazon to see if there's one that's a little bit more adjustable. It's probably gonna be bigger. It's gonna take a while to get it, of course. So I get back to my sister's house and pick up a few things we have there. We have some spices and other things that were ordered, but unfortunately arrived a day late from the last time we were there. I got a few other things coming. You're going to see some new tools and techniques of doing things. And like I said, a lot of that you're going to see on a more regular basis on the Hungry for the Road channel, which is going to combine with this Trucker's Life channel, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I just want to say thank you to everybody. The trips out of Canada, always a pleasure having them. And I like being on their live streams. They're a fun group. They're a fun bunch. Miss Linda Barker, they're out of Ohio. Ross Romes, out of jolly old London, England. If you want to go to see a good picture of the neighborhoods in the boroughs around London, watch Mr. Ross Romes. He does some great videography. It's just a driving tour or even sometimes a walking tour of real England, of real London. Not the, oh my God, look at this is great. Oh, look, this has been here for 500 years and here's the history of it. No, it's everyday places. Everyday, there we go. Let's put his, that's him there. He some of the things that he's shown, I have learned from doing videography. I haven't been able to employ it yet. Hopefully we'll soon, but go check his channel out. My World, My Way, Helen. Always a pleasure to have her there. Miss Shirley Cook, Mims. Jesse Miller, another person from the Mid-Atlantic, such as myself, from around the Chesapeake Bay. So whenever I can, harass her about, the Royal Farms chicken and Highs and, Wawa, and, places like that we both know, some of the food and some of the places. And Master Chef Trucking. You want to see a guy who really knows how to do a quality steak, a quality piece of meat. Watch this guy. He really has some good techniques, which I think I'm going to have to steal. And of course, I value his opinion because that right there on the screen is always a. Even though it's our first time doing it, he's saying we're amazing. Quote unquote us. I'm going to take credit for it. I grew the zucchini on the back of the truck. And Pug Face Media, been around for a long time watching us. Miss Tara Lee Mercer, how you doing? Truck Girl Kiana, been around for a couple years, and I'm happy you're back in the truck and you're doing what you want to do. I know you were having a hard time outside the truck, but hopefully things are working and getting back the way you needed to. Let's see here. Who else had popped in here? King and Queen Stacking. Always looking for that silver. I know it's probably been a lot tougher for you guys nowadays with the quote-unquote coin shortage. No, they're just not doing their job. That's all that is, in my opinion. Miss Lena Fairley. Yep. Out there out of Chicago. A nice lady who is from Mississippi, if I remember correctly, down near Corinth, in that general area. A nice lady. I always enjoy talking with her and watching her channel. If you want a little good old-fashioned gospel reading and, a little bit of personal counseling type advice, listen to her. I've always enjoyed listening to her and talking with her over the past, several months. Sometimes just good to listen to somebody else and their point of view, and she does a really good job with that. Let's see, who else do we have? Mr. Welkster, my friend, for several years now, went to school with me and Christina, and he started the same trucking company I did when we first got out of trucking school. He stayed there. I moved on. He's now in a new company because that company was destroyed by another company that bought him out. Didn't know what they were doing, but that's neither the air. Mr. T.J. Jones, the Bull of the Woods out of good old Oregon. Troublemaker, so beware of this guy, but nice guy. Good fun guy to talk to and, watch his channel. B Blood. Matthew Johnson. And Mr. Harry, Metal Music Maniac. Always fun having you there. Metal Music Maniac, how's that hat holding up? Oh, and here we go. Junggoon, all the way from Korea. I believe, are you in Busan? I believe Mr. Junggoon here out of Korea works in an office, but nice of him to always come across a good 14,000, almost 20,000 miles to watch my channel, and I am always grateful. I do on my subscriptions that I watch for trucking. There are 3 or 4 Korean truck drivers on there that I watch. I've never learned Korean besides, kimchi, bulgogi, and a greeting you use on the telephone called yabuseo. That's all I know as far as Korean goes. So it's right up there with almost every other language I know. I speak English and I speak American, and there's a smattering of German, Irish, French, Welsh, Japanese, and most of it either rude, because I grew up around sailors and Marines my entire life. So imagine the language. Now I'm a truck driver, I hear it even more, especially from characters like this.
Hey, I was a sailor in the Caribbean. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, she you should hear her on the road while I'm driving. Oh my God, bleep, 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 bleep. Yeah, she's okay. So, but like I said, I want to thank everybody for coming in. I do appreciate it. And like I said, next week, Saturday, we will be doing a cooking video. I do not know what I'm making yet because we haven't been to the store. She might be cooking on Saturday. Who knows? Sunday night, you have the menu. So vote on that. And we will see what we're going to do. Mr. Huber, how you doing, sir? You're late as usual. But we did pick up from the last time I stopped back near my sister's house. I picked up some tempura batter mix. So we will be doing tempura in the truck. Look out for that. I'm not going to say when it's going to be, but we'll be doing tempura, vegetables, chicken, shrimp, things like that. Like I said, I'd rather do tempura than sushi because I'm not a big fan of sushi, so I'm not going to do that. If she wants to do sushi, she can.
I'm not going to attempt that.
Well, that's up to you.
It could be dangerous.
Well, that's true, but don't give her a pair of these. You put an eye out with that. But other than that, we are just camping out in the hotel for the next day or so, depending on when my truck gets fixed. Hopefully, it is fixed by the end of the day tomorrow, and we can move back in. The truck got a good cleaning. We still got stuff to condense, but we're finding I'm building cabinetry, for utensils and for other things to make things fit a little bit better in the truck, and it's working. 2 people in a truck really made for one. It's a bit tight, but we're making the do, and things will keep getting better as we go down the road, and we make those little bit of improvements with shelving and cabinetry and hanging baskets and all that jazz. And as long as she doesn't murder me in my sleep for snoring or whatnot, we're good. See, she's giving no promises, so there you go.
That's totally not me.
Yeah.
I'm so calm and quiet.
Yeah.
He's the loud one.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Blabbermouth. She never shuts up. I tell you, I can't get. Every 5 seconds, I got to take my earplugs out of my ears. What'd you say? But no, Steve, we did not have another accident. We are just getting a new ELD computer. We got new steer tires put on the truck. General oil change, fluids, inspection, blah, 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 the typical thing. It's been well over 6 months. We put 70,000 miles on the truck since the last time we were here back in March. So we put a good number of miles on. We've done several trips back and forth, coast to coast. So, we've done a pretty good job. So, like I said, next Sunday will be dinner number 7, which was supposed to be this week, but there you go. And then make your vote on Facebook or here. Look also up the channel called Hungry for the Road, which is going to be the primary cooking channel that I'm going to try to squeeze in whenever I have probably no time like I do now. But what I'm going to try to do first with it is all the cooking videos that I have done so far. I'm going to try to repost those on that channel as well. And what I might do is invite other people as well to contribute to that channel. So, you would send me the video and I would, condense it down to try to put that up there as well. But I'm going to still play with it for a little while before it really gets to be what I think it could be. It's just an adjunct thing I want to do just to try to a little bit more organization for the most part. But other than that, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us for Zucchini Spaghetti. Like I said, we're about 60% there. We're going to see what tools we can find to make improvements on that because I do like it. And if I can do this again with a little bit more improvement with the actual tool itself, that's like a $2 thing from Walmart. If I spend $15, $20 for one that actually works a lot better, gives the results that I'm looking for, it's going to be worth it. But other than that, just want to say thank you very much. God bless everybody who joined us all the way from Korea, from London, England, and all across America. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. From me, Robert, and
Christina.
We will say see you later. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live stream from the truck as I'm doing work. So I might be doing a dump truck tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. So you may see a little bit something different as a live stream. Facebook in the morning, YouTube in the afternoon as I can. And that's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Next Saturday will be dinner. It's going to be our choice. Then Sunday, the menu's up. You make your choice, vote by number. We'll tally all that up. The winner is the one that gets made. We will always do our best to make sure by Saturday at the latest, we have all the ingredients we need for any of those things. Now, number 5 being the breakfast, we have a little bit more leeway there because I didn't define what that breakfast would be. It could be waffles, French toast, omelet, quiche, eggs Benedict. I don't know how you are about hollandaise sauce. I'm not a big fan of it, but
I don't even know what it is. Breakfast burrito.
God, don't know what hollandaise sauce is. A non-foodie on my truck. I got to get you a dictionary, a food dictionary.
I know about other things.
Well, you stick, just stick with your little Punjab and Indian, Pakistani stuff, and I think we'll work it out.
That's the only cooking that was ever taught to me. So there you go.
I got a long way to go.
Should come in handy.
Oh, I know it's going to come in handy. It's just, come on. But we'll see what we get. So I just want to say thank you all again very much for coming. A little bit shorter ones this time, but wasn't too bad. We made do with the situation we had, and we will see you tomorrow on the live stream doing actual work instead of sitting here running my mouth. Talk to you later.